Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole McCallister, and I'm one of the social workers here at Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers. Thank you so much for joining us today for one of our Lunch and Learn talks. Today, I'm going to be chatting with you about ways you at home can reduce symptoms of anxiety, especially with some hands-on activities that you can do in the moment when anxiety presents itself. So we're going to talk a little bit about what anxiety is, what it looks like, what it feels like, and then we're going to go into ways that you can fix it at home. I'm going to share a little presentation, and then we're going to do a hands-on activity together. So do you have trouble staying asleep at night? I know a lot of people can go to sleep and they fall asleep okay, but then they wake up and they cannot fall back asleep. And they struggle with racing thoughts or repeating thoughts, or just unable to settle themselves to get back into that good, restful REM sleep. Do you find it hard to relax, whether you're at home or in a situation that you should be able to relax, like going to the spa or being in a movie? Have you felt like electricity is running through your body, kind of causing you to feel like your fingers stretch out or your back arches and you're just physically uncomfortable feeling this electric shock run throughout every part of your body? Does your heart pound when you're experiencing stress? If you said yes to any of these symptoms, then likely you are experiencing some anxiety. And anxiety comes on a scale, so it can be very low, happen just an occasion, or it can be happening very strongly and happen all the time, and maybe you're really struggling to be able to manage those symptoms on your own. We're going to talk about ways that you at home can address low to moderate anxiety symptoms in conjunction with other things that your medical team may be recommending, but definitely thinking about those moments where anxiety presents itself and you need to kind of in the moment do something to make yourself feel better. Anxiety is a fear, dread, or uneasiness that causes you to have physical and emotional symptoms. Occasionally feeling anxious is normal, and most people experience it at some point in their life. They even say that a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety is good for the heart, kind of keeps you fight or flight, kind of keeps you going. But when you're feeling it all the time and it's interrupting your daily life and how you function and how you sleep and how you work and those relationships with others, then it's become problematic. And it's time to talk about ways that you could help yourself to make things better. Anxiety is more prevalent for those facing a cancer diagnosis and for those pursuing treatment of that disease. There's many occasions when a person with cancer may be triggered to have anxiety. Some of these might be when they're completing a scan and then waiting for those results. Maybe they have an appointment from their doctor to hear about a new or changing diagnosis from their provider. During treatment, sitting in the chair, sitting on the radiation table, or as a survivor, that fear of recurrence can cause a lot of anxiety. Some signs and symptoms include having a sense of impending danger, panic, or doom. So you always feel like the other shoe is about to drop and you can't seem to shake that. Maybe you're breathing rapidly. They call that hyperventilation. Sweating when it's not hot or you're not doing physical activity, but you notice that you're sweating. Trembling, where your hands maybe kind of shaking. Feeling weak or tired. Having trouble concentrating or making little errors or mistakes that normally you wouldn't do. Experiencing GI problems. Our guts tell us when we're maybe getting into something bad and when we're getting into something good. They always say, trust your gut. Well, there's a reason for that. And a lot of times when we're experiencing anxiety, it can trigger those GI issues. So maybe you're going to the bathroom more frequently, having upset stomach, heartburn. So those are things that might trigger you to say, maybe it's time to talk to the doctor. Also having an urge to avoid things that trigger anxiety. So we're going to talk about identifying triggers, but instead of facing things that might be upsetting to you or might cause those, you do everything you possibly can to avoid them. It's always good to try to manage your anxiety on your own. Especially if it's that low, that moderate anxiety that is mild, especially in those moments when those feelings of distress present themselves. the social workers at Ironwood and your medical team can assist you with developing coping skills and a plan for wellness. However, we're going to talk about a few things you can try at home. First is get to know your anxiety. Identify those triggers, those things that really cause you to feel that anxiety. So if you're having a moment where all of a sudden you recognize you're feeling anxiety, sit down and go, what was I just doing? What was I thinking about? What's bothering me? And then write it down, keep a journal and kind of like list those things. Really get to know that. Talk to your family, talk to your friends and those around you and say, what do you think causes anxiety for me? What do you think that really gets me going some days? Sometimes it's easier for people outside to look in and tell us, because sometimes we don't see things. We get into this tunnel for ourselves. And so it's okay to involve your friends and family in your well-being and on your journey to feeling better. Number 2, self-care. Give yourself some grace. I tell people all the time, if I had a prescription pad, I would write a prescription that said, at least 15 minutes a day, you have to do something for yourself, whether it's reading, knitting, taking a bath, listening to music, doing mindfulness practice, meditation, whatever is that self-care, giving yourself a facial, a manicure, whatever it is, at least 15 minutes a day to just take care of you, to reset and rebuild and re-strengthen ourselves. We give so much of ourselves to the ones that we love and those that we're around and at our jobs and just in life that sometimes we forget to recharge our batteries. And just like they say on the airplanes, before you can help somebody else, you got to put your mask on first and then put their mask on. So always just try to look for ways that you can practice self-care. Number 3 is tactile activities. So kind of just like what it says, tactile means touch, it means using your hands. They use this technique in a lot of research with substance abuse users, those going through withdrawals and smoking cessation, like when you're trying to quit smoking, they say do tactile activities. So there's a million out there, but basically there's 2 components to each activity. One is that it changes the focus of your brain. So it gets you to stop thinking about what's triggering anxiety and focus on the activity that you're doing. And also that you're using your hands and kind of channeling that negative energy, that electrical current that's running through your body that kind of makes you kind of feel so uncomfortable physically. It's going to pull that out through your arms, out through your hands, and into that activity that you're doing. So for example, I have Play-Doh here. And you could use a stress ball. You can get this at the dollar store. So you're going to take the Play-Doh and you're just really going to work it out. And you're going to just squeeze it and kind of twist it. Maybe you're going to make shapes with it. You can smell it if you want. Those are your kids. It's got that smell that reminds us of childhood. But then, kind of really focusing on it, maybe twist it into some dinosaur or velociraptor or whatever that you're into, and kind of just feel it. Take some time and be mindful with it. There's a lot of mindfulness practice that says, like, what does it smell? Does it make a noise when I squeeze it near my ear? Just remembering that smell, remembering if I have any memories associated from my childhood, good memories or adult memories. If you're a teacher, you probably have a lot of memories of kids sticking Play-Doh somewhere they shouldn't stick it and it being somewhat funny and somewhat, what do I do now? But really just kind of focusing on the touch and how does it feel? Does it feel soft? Does it feel squishy? Does it feel cold? Does it warm up the longer you do it? Just think of those things and really focus. And when I say that you have to do a tactile activity, obviously I'm not going to do it for 15 to 20 minutes here on the video with you, but that's how long you need to do it, at least. Because if you just do it for a minute or 2, that's not going to be enough to reset your body. So you really need to work at it and really, really get into that Play-Doh, really kind of physically challenge yourself to kind of just let out that anxiety, really stress it, hold it, grip it and squeeze it. We're going to talk about progressive muscle exercises here in a second, but you can do that with the Play-Doh partially by doing this. Interesting, when you squeeze it really hard, it feels like there's moisture coming out and my hands get pink. But so it's kind of a good activity. And again, you're really just kind of taking that moment to be mindful and think of all those things, the hearing, the smelling. Don't taste it. It's probably non-toxic, but we don't want you to do that. There's plenty of other good things you can eat. But even pushing it back in there and kind of sticking your finger in and really working it in, that can all be part of that tactile activity. So you got to find out what works for you. We're going to show another one here at the end. That's a tactile activity that I like. Number 4, positive self-talk. Acknowledge your thoughts, whether they be positive or negative. Try to hold on to those positive ones, good things about yourself, reminding yourself you're strong, I have family support, I have good friends, I'm going to do well. The doctor said this is good. The doctor said this is curative. The doctor said that it seems to be working, the treatment, and things are getting better and better every time he does a check. Hopefully that's what he's saying. But even if he's not, think of the positive things in your life. Really kind of have that gratitude moment and really kind of channel those into your brain, and then try to avoid the negative. You're going to acknowledge those negative thoughts because you want to see what's triggering you to have those or what those are about. But things like, I'm not good enough, or nobody loves me, nobody cares, I'm all by myself. Kind of really try to grab those, acknowledge them, and then just push them out of your brain. Really kind of focus and practice self-talk. Write out a mantra for yourself. I've helped patients develop a mantra. It's like a one-liner that they can remind themselves. Write it on a piece of card and stick it in their wallet, or carry it with them, or in their bra strap, so that when they need it, they pull it out and they're like, I am going to do this. I am not my mom. I am not my mom's cancer. I have something different. I am better. Medicine is better. Whatever, your thoughts may be, but you're going to come up with that mantra and you're just going to repeat it to yourself. Little sticky notes on your bathroom mirror is always a good idea, of little positive things to remind yourself when you feel like you're alone. Really sit down and think about the last 5 people that have called you in your phone, besides the robocalls, but the people we know that actually call us. Are they friends? Are they family? People from church? People from the community? They're checking in on us. And number 5, progressive muscle exercises. So this is really fast and really easy to do. It's a 3-second focus on all of our body parts from top to very bottom, but really kind of concentrating on those areas where we feel it. Maybe our cancer's in our gut and it's in our colon, and we really kind of, when we get to that part of our body, really focus. But what it is even with your face, taking 3 seconds to hold those muscles and squeeze them and get as tight as we can and hold it for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, and then relaxing. And then your neck, maybe you're stretching to the left and you're 1, 2, 3, and then you go to the right. 1, 2, 3, and then working all the way down through your shoulders, kind of arching your shoulders, twisting your shoulders, your elbows, stretching your hands out as far as you can, with your hands flat to the sky to really stretch your fingers, spread them as far as you can and count to 3, and then let go, and then squeeze them as hard as you can into a fist and then let go. So it's really kind of working through all those muscle areas of creating this tension and then release. So it's in that release that we kind of relax and we find that peace. I want you to live well and thrive. And so that involves living a healthy lifestyle. It's always good for anxiety. Stay active. One of the ladies in our breast cancer support group always says, motion is lotion. And just keep moving. When anxiety hits, get up and move. Seek out fresh air if you can, and make choices to eat well. Really think about what you're putting in your body. Does it serve a purpose, or does it just taste good? Maybe if we're feeling a little low and a little sluggish, avoiding the sugars, avoiding those heavy foods. I know that sometimes when I eat a real crispy, crunchy salad, I always feel better. I feel like revived because I feel like I got some really healthy stuff inside of me. So if you're doing that all the time, that can make a huge difference. And we have a lot of people on our supportive care services team that are here at Ironwood willing to help you. Every patient has the ability to see a dietitian, a registered dietitian, and kind of meet with them or consult with them and get some tips and advice. We also have Dr. Heidi Rula, our integrative medicine doctor, who meets with our patients on every step of the journey and really looks at nutrition, well-being, lifestyle, just kind of overall everything to make sure there's that balance between our mind, body, and spirit. So we can help develop a plan for you if you need that. But spending time outdoors and experiencing nature, listening to birds, listening to trees, smelling flowers. Sometimes that's just something simple as just going for a walk and being observant of those things, noticing somebody's landscape in their front yard and how it's done and how that it looks really nice, or how that's like a perfect palm tree with the branches just, splayed out. So just kind of being aware and having that mindful activity and that mindfulness when you go outside, but getting fresh air, sometimes staying on the couch, kind of hunkering down, we think is what makes us feel good, but we need to get moving. We need to get outside, get that vitamin D from the sunshine. Just put your sunscreen on first. Spend time with family and friends who are supportive. This is that last two words, are supportive, is really important because not everyone in our lives are good for us. And sometimes there won't people that can make us feel worse or that don't let us have that moment when it's about us. They make it about them all the time. So you really need to be with friends who are positive and are supporting your well-being and are there for what you need, who respect boundaries that you give them. If you tell them, I just need you to listen, I don't need you to respond, and they actually do, then that's a good person. Think about those people when you've had crisis in your life, who was there for you. Those are the people you kind of want to seek out in times of need. Try a new hobby or revive an old one that brings you joy. Again, just an activity, something that is new, different, or something that makes you happy, makes you feel good, just to kind of shift that focus of our brain from anxiety and angst to happiness and joy. When should you seek help? This means like, when should I go and really talk to my doctor about this, or see a psychiatrist or a counselor? Bottom line is, if you feel you're worrying too much, if it's all you're focusing on, if it's something that's coming up every day in your life and you can't seem to shake it, it's probably time to get some help. If it's interfering with your work or your relationships, whether it be at work or personally, if your fear, worry, anxiety is upsetting you and it's difficult to control and you feel like the anxiety is controlling your life, if you feel depressed, kind of down, you have any trouble with alcohol or drug use that coincide, like you're coping by drinking at night to kind of relax, and that's the only way you could fall asleep, that might be a problem. If you start developing other mental health concerns along with anxiety, having hallucinations or manic phases where you're just on the go for days and days on end with no sleep and just unsettled. If you think anxiety could be linked to a physical health problem you're having, like I said, with the GI system, if you're experiencing GI issues and you think it may be related to anxiety, you might need to go talk to your doctor and kind of work on that. Again, everything is connected. Your mind and your body are connected. So if your mind's upset and worried and racing and unsettled, it's going to affect your physical health. And the very last one is, if you have suicidal thoughts or behaviors, like you want to take your own life, or you want to hurt somebody else's life, or you just think you'd be better off in this world without you in it, this is time to seek emergency treatment. We always recommend, you can call 911. The Maricopa County Crisis has a response team. You can talk to some people over the phone, or they'll come out to your house. Or there's a warm line, is what we call it, the peer support, that's available 24/7. It's in Maricopa County, and it's just people that will talk to you 24 hours a day and listen to you free of charge, no insurance needed. It's just a great way to kind of connect with somebody and maybe problem solve a little bit, or have someone just help you in that moment when you're not crisis related, but you just need someone to talk to. Your social workers and your team at Ironwood can help you get those numbers and get connected. We're here to support you. You can contact us with any questions or concerns you may have about your emotional well-being. We can help develop a plan for you with a healthy lifestyle or to manage symptoms of anxiety you may be experiencing. So now we're going to do that one last activity. And for this one, I'm going to turn my camera over here so you can kind of see. Now we're going to do a little activity called sorting. You can do this with many different types of objects, coin sorting, bead sorting. Even if you go into your garage and you have lots of nuts and bolts and random screws and nails and you want to kind of organize them, the whole point is to have a variety of items that you can spend some time one by one picking out and sorting by shape, size, color. So for today, I'm going to do some stone or pebble sorting. I got these at the dollar store. So each bag was about $1. I got 4 different colors, a dark blue, a teal, a light green, and a clear. So I mixed them all together in this one big bowl. And then slowly, one stone at a time, I'm going to pick out a color and sort them into the corresponding dish. And it sounds like such a simple task, but it actually causes your brain to need to focus on what you're doing, and you're using your hands, so it's that tactile activity. Now, a lot of people will get maybe frustrated or kind of want to rush the process and start grabbing like a handful of, say, the dark blue stones and put them all in at once. You have to do it one stone at a time, or one bead at a time, or one coin at a time. The point is to have that tedious, like, shift of focus for you. Again, spending at least 15 to 20 minutes. Obviously, we're not going to do that long on this video, but as you just watch, you can see how I'm sorting the pebbles by color. And if I went through this whole big bowl, it would take about 15 to 20 minutes. If at the end of this activity, you are feeling like you need more, do it again. Put them all back together and start mixing them up and then sort them again. Really just do it until you feel better, but you're going to want to give it at least 15 minutes. 5 minutes is going to maybe make you feel better for the moment, but it's likely that anxiety trigger is going to pop back up again. So you really kind of want to push it away and keep it away for a period of time. It's not enough and you need more, start over again. Dump them back in the bowl and do it again. The other things that work that are tactile activities are Legos. Lego sets, and I'm not talking about like the kits for 3-year-olds. I'm talking about like one of those complicated pirate ships or naval vessels or something like that. Build it. Or you can take just plain Legos and create your own shape, but it's about doing one piece at a time. Just taking one Lego at a time and building them up. And then when you get it done, taking it apart one at a time. Seems very tedious and very time consuming, but that's what you need in those moments, is kind of to distract yourself and kind of reshift that focus and get that hands-on kind of feel. So Legos, Jenga blocks, there's that Jenga game where you build the blocks and you pull them out, try not to knock it over. Well, just taking the time to build one of those towers, not with the box, but by yourself, as far as, 3 this way, 3 this way, 3 this way, 3 that way, and getting that whole tower built and then taking it apart. Time yourself, see how long it takes. Again, 15 to 20 minutes minimum for those tactile activities. So kind of see where you're at the end of those. You have to find what works to you. I know it seems silly, but I really like the bead sorting or coin sorting. And today it's the glass little pebbles from the dollar store. But also, like I did earlier on the video, the Play-Doh is kind of an amazing thing too, because you can really kind of do that. Do it when you're on the phone with somebody. Do it while you're sitting in the chair at the office getting treatment. Those are all those things that you can bring with you easily, kind of pack up. Just don't share your Play-Doh with anybody else because of germs, and wash your hands first before you kind of touch it. So in the last couple of years, we've learned a lot about germs and touching and everything. So, but those are some suggestions. Those are some ideas. And just to kind of recap again, journal and, identify what your personal triggers are. What's causing you this anxiety, this feeling? Practice self-care, practice that positive self-talk, try some tactile activities, and try those like muscle tension and relaxation to kind of loosen up your body and kind of get rid of that electrical current running through you. If you have additional needs, please give us a call. My name's Nicole, and I'm the social worker for the North and West Valley, and we have a social worker that covers the East Valley. And Emily Wolf is our medical assistant on our team, and she kind of coordinates everybody. So she can get you in touch with Dr. Rula, or our dietitians, and also you can talk to your providers. They're a very good source of information on how to manage your anxiety. Take care. Bye-bye.